time for the heavy stuff. Clack, clack, buckshot!
First thing I do is change the reporting so that I'm only seeing data on games that have failed. One of the first things that's highlighted was the fact that if there is only one letter that's unknown, but there's tons of possibilities, it can often just run out of luck. But what's most concerning is the fact that in a number of games I caught it guessing the same word multiple times. It was just a filter I forgot to add. Basically, yellow letters were still slipping through the cracks and words where the yellow letter was still in that spot were still appearing. This led to some immediate improvements. We're now up to a 99.3% win rate with 3.6 guesses per game. But back to this issue where the last letter could be absolutely anything. There are a lot of games currently going down the toilet because the bot gets stuck in these weird little rabbit holes. So what we need to do is identify them and figure out a better way out than just randomly guessing letters until you either win or lose. My caveman solution to this problem is something that I'm calling scattershotting. It's a very simple concept. You just get all the letters that it could be, and then you come up with words that contain those letters just to get an indicator as to which letter it actually is. So you're guessing multiple letters in one guess.
Like this.
The way we actually do this is we get the feedback array and we sort it in ascending order. If the resulting array matches either of the two arrays you can see on the screen, and we have the opportunity to spend a go doing this, and a couple other requirements, then it will now perform a scattershot. This means we can now make use of the other 11,000 words that Wordle does accept as guesses, even though they will never be used as answers. That's because with a scattershot, we're not trying to find an answer. All we want is to find a single letter. Getting this all set up and integrated took quite a while. I had to tear a few bits open to make it fit. And there were obviously some bugs, but once it was all resolved and running smoothly, it seemed to work. You can see here that on its fourth guess, it guessed poems to get rid of the P and the M. It still failed, but you can see how this works, right? It was able to eliminate 2 words instead of 1. I then made a few more changes so that it could do 2 scattershots in a row, and I now also measure the usefulness of the scattershot word to see if it's worth actually using it. I then just repeated this process of analysing the failures and making whatever little tweaks and changes were needed to boost the bot, push it in the right direction. And eventually, after all the scattershot work was done, we had incredible results. The only word it couldn't solve was hatch. And when I looked at what was wrong with it, there wasn't really anything. I think it's just an issue where hatch is just down a really tricky rabbit hole, so we need to now improve our rabbit hole digging ability.
I will pick you up with one hand.
Right now, when we're measuring the value of a word, we're getting 2 separate metrics for it and adding them together. However, we never actually tried messing around with their relative scales, so that's what we're going to do now. The way we're going to find the sweet spot for the strength of the positional value is we're going to bounce a number around it, and then if it turns out that it's gone too far, it will then bounce back with smaller steps until it goes too far again, and then it will bounce back with even smaller steps until eventually it will just be bouncing backwards and forwards, teeny tiny little steps. It will converge on the sweet spot. And we'll be using the average guesses metric to monitor performance.
And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Things have converged nicely around this 2.666 number, which basically means that the positional values that we were giving to letters in the word scoring, we should have been giving them a number that was about 2.6 times higher. Moving forward, using this 2.666 number for the positional strength, we now get some pretty solid results. The win rate's still the same, but average guesses are now below 3.6, we're now at 3.57. Also, we have a new first word. Slate. I was hoping for a bit more from the strength training, but we've made good progress so far, and there's plenty more we can do, presumably. So, we'll leave that there for now, and we'll pick it up again later.